Hello, ninth graders. I'm Miss Perky Ritscher, and I'm a science teacher and the college-level psychology teacher here at the high school. Unfortunately, summer is over, which means we have to get back into the swing of things academically. With that being said, I have a couple of tips and tricks that I want to give you to help you be successful this year. This summer, I took a graduate class in psychology at MSU Mankato called Human Memory. And in that class, I learned a lot of really awesome memory-enhancing strategies that can help students learn and study better. So the first tip or trick I have for you involves note-taking. So I want you to take a moment and think back to the last time you took notes in class. It was probably way last school year, but do your best to remember. How did you do it? Did you write down everything on the screen? Were you selective about what you wrote down? Did you write down the information and also listen to what the teacher was saying and explaining? In my experience, ninth graders come into my classroom having never learned how to properly take notes. They don't understand the ability to use your memory to process and understand what you're writing down as you're writing it. So being able to take in that new information and actually think about it while you are taking those notes, that's working memory. This is something that I can easily show you an example of. I'm going to show you a list of some simple math problems. And your task is going to be to solve those math problems with mental math. And then also remember the first number in each equation. For example, if the problem I give you is 3 plus 2, you'll do the mental math and you'll say, okay, the answer is 5. And I'm going to remember the number 3 because that was the first digit in the equation. Let's try it. Here we go. As you solve the problems, you should have remembered the first number of each equation. Is this what you remembered? If so, you have pretty decent working memory skills. If you struggled with this, then you may also struggle with your working memory. This is certainly something to keep in mind as you're taking notes in class this year. One strategy that might help you is to print out the notes beforehand. That way, instead of focusing on what needs to be written down, you can pay attention to what the teacher's saying, process that information, and write down things that will help you to understand it in the long run. The second tip I have for you involves studying the information that you just learned via your note-taking. So similar to note-taking, students come into my class and they never learned how to appropriately and effectively study for a quiz or an exam. I'm going to give you a research-based strategy called the testing effect. This is really going to help you in studying for those quizzes and exams. The testing effect refers to the idea that instead of just reading and rereading your notes in the textbook, you are quizzing yourself as you go through the information. And that quizzing yourself is going to help you remember that information in the long run a lot better than just rereading it. And one way to do this is to use note cards and have a definition and term on each side. And instead of just reading them, quiz yourself and say, okay, I think the definition of this word is this, and then see if you got it right. Now that I've given you tips on note-taking and studying, I want to tell you what not to do. When obtaining new information and studying, it is best to avoid divided attention. Divided attention means you are trying to focus on multiple things at once. For example, I have students tell me all the time that they are sure listening to music helps them focus better. I am here to tell you that that is not accurate. By listening to music while you're at work, you're actually hurting your ability to concentrate. You can prove this to yourself by doing a fairly easy task. I want you to take a few minutes to try to memorize this list of words. Feel free to pause. Got it? Now, try to write down those words. Now I want you to do the same thing, except this time, when I show you the words to memorize, I want you to turn on some music. It'll probably be more difficult if you just completed this task. That's because your attention was divided. The same is true for watching TV while you are studying, for having a conversation while you are working on an assignment, and for listening to music during class. There you have it. Those are my 3 tips and tricks for you to help you to be successful in the classroom this year. I really hope that you're able to use these memory-enhancing strategies in your school year so that you can be successful with your academics. Welcome back, and let's have a great school year.